Hello and welcome. Welcome to the newly branded Lion and Bear Report. I'm Spaceline,
And I'm Kodiak.
and we're here to bring you that sweet, sweet action from REL 4D. Um, yeah, but yeah, and what a week it was. But before we get into that, I do want to hear about Kodiak and the Great Arabi.
Yeah. So my match this week, my opponent was Arabi, who I'm sure a number of people will know who that is, but if not, he is a Chaos Dwarves coach who specializes in the kill game. Every piece with strength access takes mighty blow and piling on as fast as possible. I mean, he'll take like block on a bull centaur first, but like he tries to hit that chain as fast as possible.
Does
And
he?
so you can have like 5 or 6 piling on pieces on the team. And he piles on every time if he has given the option, even on KOs. He burns rerolls as fast as possible to like greed reroll stuff that's on a knockdown,
It's
and he
yeah,
fouls continuously.
yeah.
And so he's kind of an intimidating team in that way. And the flip side of that was that my TV was 500 higher than his because it turns out that constantly putting your pieces on the ground is not a great longevity solution for your team. And so it's really going to be a matchup like, is he? I'm probably going to win, and I did. I won 1-0, but is he going to do damage on the way there? And I lost 2 routers, one with dirty player, but I had a 16-man team, and I had 2 dirty player
Jesus.
routers.
Oh my
So
god.
it was really just trimming that I needed anyways,
Yeah.
but that I hadn't done because I knew I had to play this guy.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So it was a good result, but it was a stressful match. It was the most stressful match beforehand outside of the playoffs
Mm.
for me, because it's just like, God, what is my team going to look like at the end of this? And I survived it, and now I don't have to play him again.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's nice.
That's yeah. In one way is like just nicer to get it out of the way, and you can go back to
Yeah,
playing the other type of Blood Bowl, which
yeah,
like Arabi's fun to watch, but it was interesting watching his stream, and he would roll a block and it'd be it wouldn't be a knockdown and just like re-roll. There's no like uh anything that's thought of. It's just like, oh yeah, I
yeah.
gotta
I'll
re-roll.
take the 15 seconds and just be like, oh man, what are the pros and cons of like
Mm-hmm.
getting this piece down? And am I going to do? It's like no, he's just like bam, bam, bam.
Yeah, yeah, and yeah, at least from what I saw in the second half, those weren't working, and he was down re-rolls pretty quickly,
Yeah.
without
His rerolls
much
don't
to show
survive
for
the first half of the half.
it. Yeah, it was wild. It's wild. Um, yeah, I haven't played against him since he pretty much wiped out my underworld team, and
Oh
yeah,
right, yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Does
yeah.
he does make the Challenger Cup appealing as well as
Mhm.
playoffs to the possibility
Just
of being
jump
able.
over him.
Yes, yeah. It's just like uh, I know it's his team's not quite what it once was. Like he's taken some Chorf blocker losses, but
Yeah. And one of the
it's
Bull Centaurs is rookie.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. But even still, like just knowing somebody is going to disregard many other things that you count on people to prioritize, like the ball.
Yeah, well, like where he fouled me with his ball carrier.
Yes, yeah. Which I thought he was using as like a feint almost. Like he kind of like put it in the middle of the pitch and then he like shifted back over to the other pitch. But I think it was all just to continue to block stuff and foul stuff.
Yeah,
So yeah, congratulations for
thanks.
winning the match and also winning the war there, so to speak.
I appreciate it.
But yeah, let's on that note, let's hop into our first match of the week, which was Cross of the Empire versus Arf Arf. I'm an elf.
Nice.
Um, and this one I watched the replay of. I think they played this pretty early in the week,
Mhm.
and I didn't get a chance to catch it live or anything. I don't think anyone had a chance to stream this.
Not as far as I know. I've only seen the first half of this match. I was watching it before the recap, and that's how far I got.
Yeah, so yeah, this was interesting, and you know, was pretty much a classic 2-1 grind in a way. Like
Mhm.
Necro got the ball, and just kind of they were very patient, just kind of slowly advancing. They withstood a wizard attempt, and a couple cage dives. Just did not work out for the Pro Owls at all. And they kept their cool. They didn't like try to bolt and yeah, like run down the pitch or anything like that. They kept together. And I mean, I think Necro can have that advantage a little bit of they're not super slow, so even if they only make a little bit of progress, they can certainly uh, get to the end zone quicker than most teams.
Yeah, I'd say I like picking up the ball. I thought they did something that I've heard Superfed talk about, where it's like the accordion, where
Hmm.
they put some of their faster. The kick was fairly deep. They put a number of their faster pieces back to cover getting the ball up to the midfield while leaving
Hmm.
the flesh golems along the line and some zombies to like try to like slowly push a square or two
Hmm.
while the rear piece is like caught up using like the werewolves, the whites have like superior movement to the golems and the zombies.
Yep. Yep. Yeah. I mean the yeah. It's they have the movement up. Oh wait, no.
They have a movement up white.
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
And the werewolves are just naturally fast, and the ghouls are like werewolves are 8, ghouls are 7 naturally, so they can catch up to a move 4 flesh golem in a
Yep.
couple turns,
Yep. Yep.
even if it's trying to advance a little bit.
Yeah. So yeah. So they were able to stall out until turn 8. One thing I noticed was that the elves during this half were kind of half committed to making, so they were making cage dives, which I heartily approve. They have the agility pieces to do that. Um, but they really only had like half of their team up around the cage, and the other half was
Mm-hmm.
way back, which I think like I do think it's good to have a safety in place, especially for something like Necro, where they could just like make a break for it. But they had like four, maybe even
4 or 5
five
is more
pieces.
safeties than you need.
Yeah, yeah. So I noticed that was something I kind of noticed that I kind of would recommend like an all or nothing approach, and not to say that you have to do that right away. I think there's kind of a moment where you choose, okay, this is when we're gonna make our move,
Right.
um, and uh, and they did, but then they also didn't.
Yeah, and it's something that like as a Nurgle coach I run into where you like and this is something I had to do in my match against Arabi where you're like you have turns where you're like I'm gonna limit how many blocks they get on me. I'm gonna try to keep it to just the blitz, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then there's the turn where it's like, okay, now I'm gonna go base everybody up. The Nurgle
Mm-hmm.
warriors are all the Nurgle warriors and the beasts and probably some Rotters and probably some Pestigors are in
Mm-hmm.
contact with people to limit their options. And
Yep.
elves is obviously a different calculation. For me, it's doing that means I'm not mobile anymore. I'm stuck there.
Right.
For elves, it's I'm going to take a bunch of hits, which might kill me.
Mm-hmm.
But there's still a similar thing where if you only base up half the team, then the other half the team can come in and provide assists to push you off,
Yep.
which is what you saw in some of that cage diving. Right?
Yeah.
Is there's just enough pieces where the werewolves can hit somebody in frenzy and get them out, and the white was next to somebody and he hits them and gets them out, and you're just taking a lot of hits
Yeah.
because they have enough pieces to bring in support everywhere.
Yeah, and you can, especially with a couple frenzy pieces, but also just in general, the Necro had themselves pretty close together by the time some of the scrum was happening, and they
Yeah.
could just like chain blocks essentially. So even if they didn't get, the piece that had cage dived down right away, they could push it to somebody else and have them take care of it. And you
Yeah.
see like 64 succeeded blocks in a non-overtime match, and I
It's a
think that's a lot. And I think we saw a little bit of that. There was another match last week where we saw that, but this feels like a lot, especially if you're elves. That's not what you want to see. Having that many, at least pro elves, armor 7 elves, you don't want to see that many blocks against you.
and he paid a price for it, right? We can see that dead catcher over there.
Oh, oh, well, yeah. So, and that happened in the second half.
Yeah, I didn't get to see that one.
Yeah. So interestingly, like, the damage in the first half wasn't all that much. The elves actually at the start of the second half, when they got the ball on their LOS hits, they actually got ahead on removals, um, and then but they yeah, they scored really quickly, which I don't
Mhm.
blame them. That's an elf thing.
Yeah.
You don't want to be hanging out too much with the ball, one side of the pitch or the other, because things start to collapse. Um, but then, yeah, things started to fall apart once the Necro got the ball again, and I think it was like the Elves scored in 2 turns, I think, so the Necro had a lot of time to
Mhm.
continue to grind down the Elves, and that's when you started seeing the damage. Yeah, you had the dead catcher, which had leveled in the match. Um, you have the strength up, agi up catcher, who's gonna miss next game, and yeah,
The straight up AGF catcher was out this match. That's what's
oh,
going on there.
that's right, that's right. One day I'll have that
Yeah.
figured out. Yeah, so that was already out, but yeah, that was a catcher piece that you didn't want to
There was a number of, I think,
lose.
a number of KOs then because
Yeah, yeah,
I think only two of the KOs were in the first half.
yeah, right. Yeah, so three, and then
That
uh,
death
yeah, the death.
and the already removal of the linemen and all that.
So yeah, the I'd say the one of the downsides for the Necro, they still weren't able to get a level on Legolas 2.0,
Mm-hmm.
who was coming into this match much like their last, I think, even at 30 of 31.
Mm.
And while it's a pretty good wolf, right? But you'd love to get tackle on it, probably.
Yeah, you'd love a shot at Mighty Blow, looking for that double, and if you don't get it, tackle's great.
Yeah, yeah. So that was the only thing. I think they might have been carrying on him at one point, but yeah, I can't quite remember how that happened, but I knew it wasn't available. We did see a Flesh Golem touchdown, which maybe that's why it wasn't available, because the Flesh Golem said, "This is mine." Actually caught it on the kickoff in the second
Okay,
half. Caught it on the bounce.
I didn't get to see that. That's pretty fun.
Yeah, and
Do you know? Do you remember which one it was?
I think it was the. I don't remember actually.
I can check this easy enough while
Yeah,
you talk.
yeah. But yeah, I don't blame at that point too. I think with the first LOS hits and such, you started to see the elves cave a little bit, and I don't blame Ponosaurus for wanting that sweet 3
Mm.
SPP for Flesh Golem.
Yeah, and that would have been Galadriel, the Blodge one, and
Hmm.
in particular, that Blodge guy, like, that's a nice piece, but you need him to have guard, right? You take
Yeah,
Dodge because Blodge for him is amazing,
yeah,
but to actually do his job, he needs guard.
yeah. Exactly. So and it's not a bad ball carrier
It's
too.
hard to go after.
Yeah. Uh, so yeah, so that was a bit of fun, at least for the Necro. I don't think the pros were having much fun at that point.
Yeah.
So uh,
I say one other comment with that match,
yeah.
which is just it's one of those things I'm sometimes surprised to see where there was a perfect defense at the very start.
Mm,
I'm always a little surprised when there's a perfect defense and someone leaves their position people in a position where like a mighty blow piece is still marking one of their guys on the line.
yeah.
Like when there was an opportunity to not have that happen. Like there's certainly
Right.
games where it's like, well, the entire line's got mighty blow.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it's going to happen, but
Yeah.
there was an opportunity here that I thought was just slightly surprising.
Yeah. It's
Though
like
it didn't, I think it only caused like a stun, so it wasn't some huge
mm,
thing.
yeah. It's sometimes I don't know. I've done this where I like okay, well, I'd rather have this piece take the mighty blow hit than somebody else get blitzed with the mighty blow piece. But I know that yeah. I guess
Well,
with
and the attacking blitz was made by Glorfindel on that turn because he's got
mm,
tackle, and so that I think why
right.
you wouldn't have seen it on.
Yeah. 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 On the werewolf.
Yeah,
Yeah, and especially if it's a frenzy piece, I think that's
it
a
would be either
little.
you more, yeah, because it was like on a piece that was thinking dodge and sidestep.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, that's a bit of a bummer.
But
But
didn't cost him anything. The thing
yeah,
that cost him
yeah.
something was he stood too near the sideline at one point, and that's how we got a missed S game on Relatron, uh, and that didn't happen
Oh,
again.
yeah.
One serve.
Right. Um, yeah, yeah. That'll do that. We also see Stone Ripper get block, which is
That's great.
great for them, bad for the rest of
He
the
might live a
league.
little bit longer.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Oh, all right. Well, let's move on to the next match. Oh, and oh yeah, you mentioned already, but or you have on your sheet, the inducements for a wizard and a babe, and the the babe didn't really come into play because the a lot of the KOs were in the second half.
And the fireball was awful.
Fireball really was a
Well,
letdown.
it did something, which is that armor bust on the ghoul was from the fireball, but
Oh
it
yeah,
was attempted to use it to get into the cage, and
yeah,
that guy wasn't in the cage. He was just like next to the cage.
yeah,
The things up in the cage and the ball carrier didn't get knocked down,
yeah.
and so it didn't get maybe as much as it could have.
That's right. Yeah, I forgot about that bit. Yeah, so that's probably, given that that was a fresh goal, that's if he can afford to replace it. I probably wouldn't even want to put it on the pitch, honestly. You're gonna have to, yeah, replace that. Cool. All right. Next match, which is Mean Green and Thick versus Peak Altitude.
Mm-hmm.
And this one I also got a chance to watch through on the replay. Because I can't remember. I think Kujira wasn't able to stream it. But do believe they streamed their first match, and they can sometimes stream their matches, but this one they didn't. Um, yeah, this one ended up being a bit of, you can kind of see it, ended up being a bit of a grind, classic grind as well.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the elves, I believe they got to choose, and they chose to kick. And they actually got a blitz on the kick,
Mm-hmm.
but they weren't able to do much with it.
Yeah.
It was just, I think the position of the ball and the way the orcs were set up didn't leave a lot of room to do much. Did get to did get a knockdown on the blitz, but otherwise,
Yeah, I actually thought they did a really nice job with it in that they like Darkanan noticed that he didn't have a good angle on the ball,
yeah,
and
yeah,
so he applied a little. He used it to like reposition to apply pressure in better ways to like set himself up better for the future. But he didn't overcommit.
yeah,
Like he didn't just like
yeah,
run a million people through and then find out, whoops, no, the ball orcs have the ball under control, and now you're out of position.
right, yeah.
Because high elves aren't like the fastest. Like the catchers are real fast,
That's the thing.
but those linemen can get out of position.
Right. Yeah, right. The catchers can be fast, but it's not like you want to throw them into the teeth of a bunch
Yeah,
of orcs, right?
yeah, your AV7 very expensive pieces. They're like
Right.
100K each.
Oh my gosh, yeah. No, no, exactly. So yeah, I agree. I think they played it as well as they could have. And yeah, we saw a lot of like them screening the orcs really balling up. Like they were, I think at one point had like almost 8 people in a box around the ball. It was a lot. Which yeah, I mean that will stop some cage dives.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, the house did a lot of screening in the first half. There's an interesting point so like the orcs did manage to split off, and at one point they had the high elves kind of smushed in between them somehow. That I found interesting. It was like kind of a place where the elves couldn't really. I think they managed to get out of it, but they had a couple pieces like squished in between the cage and like a bunch of black orcs on the other side.
Mm,
Um, but yeah, and you could see the orcs really wanted to get that level on Dr. Gree,
mm.
and they were doing everything to make sure, like including many orc GFIs, to make sure like that was going to be the orc to cross the finish line there.
And I don't blame them. That's getting mighty blow on that tackle piece. Like you tackle so necessary in this division that making your tackle pieces better is really nice.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
And
Uh,
DJ Galid, I thought was nice. That was a touchdown, is where that level came from.
oh
Um,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
that there was a touchback, and he's like, "Cool, this dude's leveling up,"
Yep.
and really never got impeded much because I think
No.
that was the second half. At
Yeah.
which point he had enough of a manpower advantage that he didn't need that one guy,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
now he's got guard on a black orc, which is real nice.
That's really nice. Yeah, that's where you want to start going with them next, and um, yeah, that means they'll have 4 guard pieces. That's right. The blitzers maybe you're trying to keep them a little more mobile, but still mobile guard and some other guard pieces that'll be good for down the line. But yeah, yeah. So this is another match where you get your strength 4 piece the ball and say go forth, and and try to score in 6 turns or what have you.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, because yeah, so obviously Dr. Gree was able to get that touchdown just by the. It was pretty close. I think they had to do some repositioning, like I said, some GFIs to like get in position for it, but they were able to do it. And then in the second half, the Elves tried to stretch the field a little bit, and I think obviously they didn't want to score super fast, but they in the process of setting up for their score, they took two removals, including the I think the perm on Albert happened while they were trying to just like keep things lively. And I think once that happened, that's when they were like, okay, we probably need to get the ball in the end zone. So scored after 3 turns, and that gave the Orcs enough time to answer. Again, there had been, having removals happen on your own drive when you're trying to counter score, and then having to go on defense, put them in a pretty tough position.
Yeah, and peak altitude actually got a second blitz on the Orc second drive.
Oh, that's right.
They just did nothing with it because there was
Yeah,
nothing to do. But it
there
was a
was
touchback, and so
even
you
less
couldn't
to do.
like target the ball, and it's just like,
Oh
well, man, we're
yeah,
good.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
We're good.
That was the strangest touchback. I don't think I've ever seen. So the ball was like 2 squares in. It wasn't even like just like 1 out or,
I'm
on the
wondering if it was like a
line.
misclick or something. Because like that happened in my match this week with
Mm.
Robbie, where he was like gesturing on the field and clicked on the end zone, my end zone
Oh,
on his kick, and
oh
it's
my
just like,
gosh.
whoops.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that'll do that. Yeah, because I thought like you can't do more than one off if you hit the center space, but this was like sitting at two. Yeah, and
He
I
might have just even tried to like edge it a little bit, right? Is it's like, well, I'll just
mm,
like squeak it,
yeah,
like 1 or 2 squares. You see that sometimes where
yeah,
you'd like a deep kick or something.
right, right. Yeah, and then yeah, they got the blitz from it, but then yeah, I think when I was watching this live, you just saw like the agony of like, well, okay, yeah, nothing to do here, just like you said. But yeah, I think, you know, I think overall, I felt like the Orcs really utilized their tackle well, um, as well as their strength to kind of keep things, under their control. Um, and yeah, there just really wasn't too much for the High Elves to be able to do against it. Uh,
This is they're in a nice position as far as the bash teams go up. They have a relatively large amount of tackle
hmm
for this div of the bash teams.
Yeah, and
There
they're
are some with none.
yeah, or one. And they're pretty TV efficient right now.
Hmm.
Like
They
that's
got the bribe, right? They spent
right,
20K because
right.
they got their pieces and got themselves a bribe.
Yeah, yeah. This is a team to look out for sure. Um, and yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I think both of them got pretty great MVPs too, right? So Vesuvius, I
Yeah.
think, leveled off of that and was able to get block, which makes it much more interesting and dangerous. And Dr. Gree, even with his touchdown MVP, or level, it's like, no, give me more.
I mean, that guy can just keep going, right? Like
Oh
Blitzer
yeah, yeah, yeah.
developed real nice.
Right, yeah. You're not gonna complain about that one. But yeah, um, yeah, and the blocks were kind of the same, but the armor breaks were not. That's one thing I will say. Like, I mean, AV8 versus AV9
Yeah.
shouldn't be that much of a difference.
There is more Mighty Blow on the left, and there was more Block Succeeded. There is some AV7 on the right.
Yeah,
Like, as you know,
yeah,
like
yeah,
Pinatubo, that badly hurt catcher.
yeah,
That's an AV7 piece.
yeah.
Um,
St-
but yeah, it was a little bit worse for the High Elves than it might have been, though it really wasn't that dramatic overall.
no, it didn't feel like it. And maybe some of these armor breaks were in fouls.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I didn't have a foul counter going, but
No.
um, that probably helped. But yeah, it does. I don't know. I know. I mean, for a team that's taken a lot of damage, it's got to feel like here we go again with.
Yeah, and you got the armor bust on that guard block guy, and it's like, oh, that piece is a
Yeah,
little bit less nice now.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. All right. Next we have goblins.dce versus the Skaven rat rodents. This was fun. That the match of the or one of the matches of the teams that with different names
Hmm. Yeah.
and even
The Khemri named after the rats. The rats named after goblins.
yeah.
Sadly, this division doesn't have a goblin team named after Khemri.
Yeah. One day. Um,
They should have found. Felicity Maya should have like specifically gone looking for that when we needed a replacement.
yeah, exactly. We'll put in a
We'll
formal
give you
complaint.
14 inducement games if you make that.
Right. um, but yeah, this one, goodness, the armor breaks are extremely skewed.
Mhm.
I didn't get a chance to watch this one, but
Okay.
I do approve, or I think I might have caught just a little bit, and I do approve of the two bribes for the Skaven rat rodents. So,
Yeah, definitely.
because I think they run with a bribe stadium, so they're kind of built for fouling.
Yeah. So in terms of how this match went, since you didn't catch it,
Yeah.
um, so I mean, a really notable event was so they're you can see they have a mice ball carrier, the throw raw. Um, and because they only had that one throw raw and they only had one blitz raw on the field, the blitz raw had, I believe, the second blitz raw had, I believe, died after the
Yeah.
first match.
Yep. Yep.
Um, it was really unfortunate when you have the kickoff to the Khemri. He has his little kickoff return three. Rock comes in, nails him, knocked
Oh
out.
my gosh. Oh no.
So yeah, which means that turn one, the rats just like wander over to the ball, grab it, and just like
Oh.
throws it upfield.
Oh no.
Um, yeah, and so that was a big problem for the Khemri.
Yeah.
At that point, the Khemri just start fouling everything as possible, everything in sight. The
Don't blame
rats
them.
focus in on taking out the one blitzer, the
Yeah.
blitzer,
Yeah. Yeah.
on the theory that like
Makes
that's
sense.
the only move up, decent moving piece on the field left.
Yep.
Um, and also like a threat to their pieces, right? Because it's got
Right.
mighty blow piling on and all that. But yeah, the Skaven managed to score on turn four. Um, that's when they took the niggle on Kiki Jiki. That was actually originally
Mm.
a strength bust and got appoed into that niggle.
Oh
So
no.
not great, but could have been worse.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so Skaven scored turn four. Riot gains both teams a turn, and yeah, and the Skaven basically the Khemri managed to struggle to get the ball back, like get the ball off the ground.
Mm.
On this their second attempt at a drive.
Yeah.
Skaven take it again.
Oh
They
no.
score on turn six.
Oh my gosh.
Um, but like the rats continue to take damage. Better and better pieces are hitting the line at this point,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and they like set up really far back on this last,
Oh, yeah.
and they're just trying to stay alive at that point.
Yep. Yep.
And on like then on their half, the rats end up abandoning the ball eventually.
Mm.
They just run up and they just throw it again towards the Khemri end zone
Mhm.
on the theory that like, well, okay, if they have to send someone back to go get the ball, pick it
Yep.
up
Yep.
and walk it the entire length of the field. For Khemri, that's like a 4-turn procedure,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? And so basically that was their plan. It meant that the Khemri only were able to score once,
Yep.
despite
Yep.
the Skaven having a lot of pieces off the field, as you can see between like the damage over there on the left and those KO sustained.
Yeah.
And yeah, I thought it was good play on their part to manage Tim Nielsen's part to manage the damage they were taking, given the 2-0 advantage lead they managed to build up in the first half with the Khemri drive.
Yeah. 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 I think definitely made the right calculation as far as I'm up 2-0 and I have the ball. Yeah, I think I've got this one won. How do I just make sure that happens safely?
Yeah, but costly win for them. Niggle on both Goblin Piledriver and Kiki Jiki is unfortunate.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Neither of those are firing offenses, but you don't love it.
Yeah, yeah, I think, I mean, definitely their opponents are going to be pretty happy. But yeah, those are both really, like, kind of key pieces. War Chief may be the better Storm Vermin, but like against, I mean, you have one for agility teams, you have one for bash teams, and the bash one is probably not the one you would be, uh,
Yeah, exactly.
nursing
Like
along.
he's the one that's going to take more hits from the bash teams because he's got claw.
Yep, yep.
But he's still valuable, and that claw was a double. So
Yeah,
You
no,
can't,
I don't
you
think you
certainly can't
fire him.
fire that guy.
Yep,
It's just
totally.
you're just a little bit sad, and you accept he's going to live a little bit less long.
Yep, yep. And
But
yeah,
that's the scheme in life.
it is. Yeah, definitely. Um, I like too that Rat the Third is still managing to get thrown out, even with the
Mm-hmm.
bribes.
Yeah,
That is a commitment.
two
Uh,
bribes and sneaky get, and he's like, no, I'm just going to foul that much.
yeah, I really appreciate it. Yeah, I think especially in this Alfie division, it's yeah, it's good. It's good to keep some fear in there. And they did get a level out of it. Rat Trick
Mhm.
now has Mighty Blow, so he's got a full line of Tomb Guardian Mighty Blow pieces.
Yeah, and guard
Uh,
on a skeleton is nice, given that you're not putting it. You only have it on one Tomb Guardian so far.
yeah. That's a yeah nice like kind of cheap addition for the guard. It doesn't take
It's like
um
70 TV, right? It's like a 40K
yeah
piece.
yeah totally. Um, and yeah, while it's it's just gonna take a while for these Tomb Guardians to get up there. One just got Mighty Blow, so this is a good bridge into them getting to that next stage.
Yeah, I mean, because man, if there's any piece that you cannot accelerate development on by having it like get a touchdown every once in a while, it's a
Yeah,
Tomb Guardian.
yeah, right. Though maybe maybe it's their time. We had Flesh Golem, Black Orc
Yeah,
touchdowns.
I
Uh,
wouldn't hate seeing Retricia get thrown the ball like
yeah,
on a touchback.
yeah.
If you
With that
if there was
block,
like it was like the second half and there was a bunch of removals sort of
right,
situation.
right.
Like maybe against like the other Skaven team if they if it goes real bad for them.
Yeah, exactly. Um,
And also cheap
yeah,
team right now.
yeah. That's that is wild. Uh, how cheap that is. I guess losing the other Blitzra helps with that.
Yeah, not yeah, they're a little more expensive for their upcoming game this week. That it's only having the one blitzer on the one thrower
Yeah. Were
and
they
11 pieces on the field.
not to spoil things later on, but were they able to buy a second Blitzra?
I believe so.
Cool. Yeah, that'll be good. Um, but yeah, I
Yes, they were.
nice. Yeah, I think they came in with a solid game plan, but good lord, that's yeah, rocks. What are you gonna do?
Yeah. Just be glad it was only a KO.
Yeah, yeah,
My like
that
second
is.
match of all time with my Nurgle team, I had a Nurgle warrior take a rock and take an armor bust.
Oh my
And I'm just
goodness.
like, well, that's 110k piece I'm rebuying.
Yep. Yep. That's so expensive. Yeah, totally. Cool. Um, well, ready to move on to the next match?
Yep, works for me.
Cool. So yeah, next up we have one of our many elf offs. But that's can't remember how many there were this week. I think just this one actually. But we have our new team, the Silkwood City Slickers, going up against the Sterling Hornets. Um, and I didn't see this one, but I know we have a little video clip that we want to show. But yeah, I don't know if you want to talk about the match
I
first.
yeah, let's do the match first, and then we can just throw it in. It's a small one, but just one that I thought was cute, and I think people will enjoy seeing. It takes about 45 seconds to show.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, so this match, yeah, two Bloodweiser babes, which I think makes sense.
yeah,
Just keep your pieces on the field. Um, I thought on the uh, so there's I actually my first comment was this cute moment we'll show in a second. But yeah, so the pro elves got the first drive. Ball ended up spending a lot of time on the ground,
mm-hmm.
just like constant attack by the wood elves.
Yeah.
Uh, the wood elves actually get their hand on the ball at one point in the first half, late
Oh
in the half.
wow.
They
Huh.
try to potato it up the field, but the pro elves, I mean, they're just as fast as the wood elves.
Mm-hmm.
They managed to recover, move the ball the most of the length of the field on turn 8 to get the first touchdown. Um,
Oh wow. Nice.
and it's honestly sort of like this was the hardest match this week to describe because it was just like
Yeah.
constant elf shenanigans, just like both teams constantly doing crazy nonsense in order
Yeah.
to dive at the ball, right?
Well.
And the ball kept changing hands, or at least who had like more control over the area near the ball,
Oh my
and
gosh.
just like back and forth and back and forth. And
Yeah.
I thought really interesting to see. So this was a fun one.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well, and if you look at the score line, 1-0 at the half. Is that what it was? That's
I
wild.
think that's right. Yeah,
Oh my gosh. So yeah, so three touchdowns, three of the four touchdowns coming in the second half.
yeah, just like it was a wild match, and I thought both coaches did a nice job.
Yeah.
It was just
Yeah.
like who managed to roll the 4+ pickup in two tackle zones on the right
Mhm.
turn was a
Mhm.
lot of what was going on here.
Right. Right.
As you see, no permanent damage. Both are taking an MNG into the
Yeah.
next match. The Pro Alp's a little bit better of a piece, but I
Mhm.
mean, actually, more than just a little bit better of a piece.
Yeah,
But
that's kind
but,
of
no, but no perms. They both got some development. We don't know what the tree is getting yet.
okay.
That hasn't been selected.
Mhm.
But I don't even know what you take on him, frankly. But
Grab
yeah,
maybe.
grab's probably it. You probably do
Help
grab.
with one turners or one yeah, one turn attempts.
And one thing I'll say about this match is keep an eye out for diving tackle, because there
Mm,
was one point where there was just like a dodge through diving tackle that I do not think it was.
was
I do
intentional.
not think they were quite aware that it was going to be quite so hard to dodge.
Yeah. Yeah, against elves, I will say like this is where cyanide I mean,
I'm sorry to agree, but David Leclerc just agreed in chat that yeah, it's you take grab, unless it's a double, in which case he say and then it's guard. He clearly means block.
yeah. Yeah. 'Cause
But sorry, you
it's
were saying something.
no, that's okay. Um yeah, I would say like the against like Elvi teams, the logo for diving tackle is a little underwhelming, and there's so
Yeah,
much yellow like uh, skill logos on there. You're like, yeah,
right.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Just got to get through here. And it's something that almost happened in my match too, where I was like, yeah, I'll just dodge through. Oh, wait a minute, that's not a square I want to dodge through at all. And
And I'd say the main thing is like if you path out, it'll show you this is what your dodge is. There
yeah,
is no visual indicator in that for the fact that diving
mm,
tackle might trigger. And that's
that's
something they could have done, right? They could
yes,
have been like,
yes,
this is a 2+ dodge, like asterisks,
yeah.
like there's diving tackle.
Exclamation point. There's
Yeah,
diving tackle. Yeah, exactly. I think that would be a way that you could do it, and
Blood Bowl 3.
yeah, yeah, add it to the wish list. Yeah, some nice levels too. I mean, the tree's obviously a nice level, but yeah, without the double, grab's
Blood or
nice.
moving up would be incredible, but
Yeah, grab
grab
does.
was actually very good,
Yeah.
given that you can get like stuck in place.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. As we'll see in well, yeah. Um, but yeah, getting a cat.
Yeah.
Spoilers. Getting catcher with guard for the pro elves and getting a guard lineman, Larnev. That's great. So
Mhm.
they've got two guard pieces. That's pretty good for pro elves. And yeah, I think they're looking pretty good. Plus they got some cash that maybe they can replace this nickel line elf and get something else.
Yeah. Yeah, impressively, they actually have a full bench.
Mm. Yeah, that's pretty good for an elf team.
Actually, they have a 12-man team right now.
Oh wow.
They have an extra. So yeah, I mean they could replace that lineman and they have an actual bench of elves.
Yeah. They're
Or you
definitely.
say or you save up in case one of those catchers dies.
Yeah, I'd probably save. But yeah, you could get another. Um, they are, as a result of all their development, they are not one of the more TV efficient teams like we've been talking about. But I feel like their TV is like they've got it spent pretty well.
Yeah, I think they're still relatively efficient. It's just they're not like cheap. That they
Right,
haven't invested in
right.
good places.
Yeah, yeah. And
Though
the
the cost Swift is sort of an odd piece, but I'm sure useful.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And the Wood Elves, yeah, I think. I mean, it sounds like you said, elf shenanigans sometimes go your way, and
Yes,
sometimes don't.
Gojira, we already did your match. You were the second match of the week. We are on the fourth.
Yeah, yeah.
We will still talk about your upcoming match.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. Um, but yeah, I think obviously they still have a lot of good pieces. This strength up frenzy war dancer is pretty good. I like frenzy on war dancers a lot.
Yeah, that's really fun.
Yeah. Um, Speaking of, should we take a look at that video clip?
Yeah, yeah. So just to contextualize this, this is just a play that was made by the Wood Elf team that I thought was cute. That got some nice positioning. They noticed the position of the pieces on the field would allow them to pull something off. That was just nice and convenient. So hopefully you enjoy it.
Yeah. Yeah, so I thought that was fun.
Yeah.
To do on especially like this like early, yeah, this was the pro off drive, and so for your turn one, line up your players, push in your tree, and get to work. And that's where, yeah, like grab is going to be great for that if you
Yeah.
want to try something like that again. Um, and to be fair, I guess we are kind of blowing up their their move there. So um, hopefully, people can take. There's only so much you can do though, really, because you still have to have pieces on the line. And yeah, but I think is pretty interesting.
Yeah, and I like the fact that it used frenzy, it used the chain push, yeah, and it got the trio block, and the block was just a push, and so it's not like amazing, but it was a clever way to get that piece into the game.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Especially yeah, if it's gonna sit around and take root
Yeah.
like it did on turn one. So yeah, thought that was fun. All right. So our next match was the last match that got played this week, and that was Goatwork Orange versus the Rats of Nim. I think I'm saying that right.
Yep, rats and him.
And yeah, this one I got to see a good chunk
Though,
of the.
though NIM is an acronym.
True, true. Um, what's the acronym for again?
It's the National Institute of Mental Health.
Oh,
Rats of NIM is a book.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's about like the National Institute of Mental Health did like experiments on rats to make them like super intelligent,
Hmm.
and they like escape and they have like little adventures. So it's from the perspective like a mouse
Oh,
who's having
gotcha,
like
gotcha.
adventures. And all the player names are named after various characters from the book. So like Dragon is like the cat that terrorizes the rats and all that. It's a fun book. I read it a couple times as a kid.
Yeah.
There's an animated adaptation that's pretty good and has it is kind of scary in places if you're a kid.
Oh, yeah. Did that come out in the 80s then?
Yeah, yeah, that's been
Okay.
around for a while.
Okay.
The book's like I think 60s or 70s or something,
Sure.
and the animated version would have been like the 80s.
Yeah, that's right. I think that was the studio that started trying to compete with Disney
Okay,
for that, which is where I kind of heard the name from, but I didn't know its full lineage. So yeah,
yeah.
that's neat.
Little plug for them.
Yeah, yeah, but this match was one of certainly one where we saw a ton of inducements, a lot of big TV differential, which
Yeah.
yeah, the Skaven took a wizard and a master chef, which that was an interesting choice. And I didn't get to see the full first half. So if you want
So
to
yeah,
lead with that, and then I can hop in for the second.
sure. Yeah, and I watched this that Trucksbirds is actually streamed this.
Yeah.
And I'll say he does a very entertaining stream. He's
Yes.
got a
Yes,
lot
he
of like
does.
camera presence. I mean, which and it came up during his stream that he's a professional actor, and so
It
so
definitely showed. Yeah,
it's like yeah,
that was a
you
riot.
get a big performance, and he's got the little video camera and all that, and so that was very enjoyable. And it's also nice that you get to hear like his thoughts on the game.
Yep. Yep.
And so I'd say the main thing that jumped out for me for that was he's aware of the fact that he has no tackle, and that's a big problem. But he does have a number of pieces that are close to leveling. And
And
he's like, so like if T Rose levels,
oh
T Rose is getting tackle. I think Atomic Tangerine, that's another piece. A Rackle piece would be great in a
mm-hmm.
bunch of matches this
Mm-hmm.
season. And he did not mention this. I would look at putting tackle on Hessenite if Hessenite leveled. That's that Chaos Warrior.
Yep.
Some
Yep.
people do stand firm, and if you were in a bash division, I would think stand firm would be really great. In this division, you do tackle.
Yeah. Yep.
And Creamsicle actually leveled, and that level was not assigned. But
Mm-hmm.
I guess we can talk about that at the end.
Yeah.
So in terms of the actual game, I thought he did a nice job. That his Truxbird setting up 3 dies on the gutter runners.
Mm-hmm.
That he accommodated that well.
Good. Yeah.
That came into play because he got a shot on the ball early in the first half during the Skaven drive.
Mm.
That a snake eyes on a GFI
Oh wow.
left open this angle of attack,
Mm-hmm.
and I thought it made sense that Truckbirds like took the time to bring people around to make it a 3 die.
Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah, the Skaven were attempting to switch sides, and they moved someone else before the ball. Probably should have moved the ball first,
Mm-hmm.
and did the GFI, hits the ground, and that lets Chaos go after it.
Yep.
Skaven do get the ball back, and they get it to midfield after the Chaos try to push it up, and it just turns into a scrum there.
Mm-hmm. I think that's when I tuned in at that point.
Yeah. Troxbirds experience a bit of a frustration you can sometimes get as a bash coach, where if you're not getting the removals you want, it can be really, really frustrating.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're like, I am putting AV7 pieces on the ground with Mighty Blow.
Yeah.
This thing's leaving the field. It was just stun after stun after stun after stun.
Yeah.
That said,
Yeah.
stuns are still useful, and I thought he did a nice job working with that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
There was a dud that the wizard was kind of a dud.
Yeah, I
I
did
think
see
it did
that.
nothing.
Absolutely nothing. Yeah,
Yeah,
just
fireball
like
that did
resist,
nothing.
resist, resist. Yeah.
And that was a Skaven attempting to get the ball back from the Chaos team.
Mm-hmm.
So Chaos was to hold on to it, store on turn 8. Though it was pretty exciting. In the last reroll.
Yep.
There was one GFI to get in the
Yep.
to get in the end zone, failed, but the reroll works out.
Yep.
And yeah, the second half was Chaos grinds up the field, scores, leads the game in 2 turns, but it's 2-0 at that point, so it just takes it to 2-1.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you had more like specific comments on the second half.
No, yeah, it was pretty straightforward. Again, he was still. I mean, because we watched it from his stream, it's pretty easy to get his perspective on it. But yeah, he was still very frustrated with the armor breaks. I think all of the armor breaks in the first half were just stuns, and he didn't get a KO until like the second half. And so like yeah, it was 16 armor breaks to not do 16 armor breaks, 1 Kaz on maybe 7. I'd probably feel pretty frustrated too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was just in allowing the score. Well, not allowing the score, but like it's hard to prevent the score against gutter runners when all they're gonna do is like, yeah, we got 2 turns. What else are we gonna do?
Yeah.
You can't cover the entire pitch, especially when you have a movement 10 gutter runner who now has sprint. Which is
That's real nice.
yeah.
In terms of, I have to think OB Cubby came into this season and was like, okay, I'm not going to the playoffs. I probably shouldn't go to the playoffs.
But I'm
If
gonna
you can
get
this season with like Martin Brisby
yeah,
being like move up, sprint, sure feet, block might be nice to keep him alive at some point.
yeah,
You're gonna be real happy.
yep, yeah, exactly. Yeah. So yeah, there wasn't too much for the second half. It did, kind of a reversal of the 2-1 grind, but it's still the same result, obviously. What did you think of the inducement picks? I know Troxspurs was talking in chat that he thought Rats and Nim should have taken Glart, and I don't know.
That was so. I will say before the match, Glart was my recommendation. That my recommendation was you do the wizard because you got so much money, but then you get Glart and you get like an apothecary, and that's where you end up.
Yeah.
And that might have actually served him better. I will say, the halfling master chef I think was like 1 reroll each half, which is underperforming.
Yeah.
If it had been like, we talked about how like Troxbird's like Goat Worker Orange scoring in the first half was a go for it that required a reroll on turn 8.
True. Yeah.
If that had been 2 rerolls gone, maybe that reroll isn't available. Maybe that guy falls over and it's a tie game.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So it could have gone better.
Yeah.
Uh, my thing is like the reason I wouldn't have done it is less because of like the optimality in terms of like winning the game. I would have done it
Mm.
because it's like, again, I would treat this as a development season,
Yeah.
and halfling master chefs don't keep you alive,
Mm.
whereas blart and an apothecary keep you alive.
Yeah. Yeah.
But not terrible. I do like seeing halfling master chefs come into play, and they can
Yeah.
absolutely win games for you. Like coaches who get a lot should be mindful of it. I just don't know what I would have done
Mm.
in this match.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's an interesting choice, and it's yeah, like you said, it's kind of fun to see it. Because outside of like this side of Imperium, you don't see it too often.
Yeah,
Uh,
because halflings rarely make it out of rookie seasons,
yeah. Yeah.
so you only get to play against them when it's you're re-rolling or something.
Yeah, unless they're Mr. Christie's or
yeah,
Sky Blue Monty.
the miracle halflings.
Yep, 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 yep. Or just the will never go away halflings. Yeah. Um, but yeah, I thought this was a nice win for Goatwork Orange. I think he did say that he was expecting to, or felt like he was expecting to win this one. Again, if you look the other side, without seeing much development,
Yeah.
I can see that line of thinking, but like just keep in mind, gutter runners are fantastic pieces. Probably one of
Yeah.
the top three, maybe out of the
I
box.
Yeah, there was a moment in this match where like the gutter runner just like ran over, picked up the ball, and then moved 6 more spaces to get into the cage. I was just like, oh
It's
my god.
yeah, it's still hard for yeah. If you
It's
don't
like my Pestigore with kickoff return could do that once.
yeah, if he doesn't get hit by a rock, yeah,
Yeah, and like you can just do it every turn.
yeah, yeah, yeah. They're pretty good. Um, Obviously, you want to see some more development on them if you are playing that development season.
Yeah,
But yeah, was this their first match? They missed the first.
yeah, they missed
Yeah.
the first week.
Yep. 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 So,
I
yes.
thought I thought I thought I thought I thought very I thought finely played.
Yep. Yep.
I don't have any complaints about that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just not just they need more of a team.
Yeah. Totally. Cool. Next up, Tainted Brewers versus Flyboys. And this is another match that got streamed by one of the coaches, Tainted Brewers, the Pimp Pip. He's been streaming his matches, so that's been very
Yeah,
helpful.
and another colorful streamer.
Yeah, yeah, nice to have so many division streams going on. Takes
Oh, and
take
I will say in terms of that Trucksbirds has commented that to the extent that coaches aren't streaming their own matches or we're picking it up, he'll probably start picking up some 4D matches because
that'd
he
be
had needed to make
awesome.
some repairs to his PC to
Yeah,
get it set up for streaming, but that was work. His stream looked great, so
yeah. It was there's
he's clearly
no
set up for it. And so yeah, this division I think is actually going to get really good coverage. I kind of look at 4A through 4C who have the same recapper in one
yes.
person.
Yep.
4D
Yeah.
is I think like nicely covered.
Yeah. Definitely. Which makes for a fun season. Hopefully folks can keep it up.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think streaming.
Well, it fits well with something we were talking about before the recap, which was the 4D Discord channel is like popping,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like I'm in 2A, which you would think would be a thing where people talk. There have been 0 comments in the 2A Discord.
Oh my gosh.
0 comments. 4 people have accepted the tickets. One of them is me, and one of them is the guy who started the Discord.
Oh no.
Whereas 4D, like all but 1 people are there. People are chatting. People are saying when their matches are. People are just like talking about what's going on. It's been really great division to cover so far, and I'm really looking forward to the rest of the season.
Yeah. Well, and that's great too. Like as both a coach in the division and a recapper of it, it is nice to see like
Yeah.
so many people getting engaged with it. And hopefully that keeps up. Do you? I do have a follow-up question on the 2A stuff. Is there a lot of chat? I haven't poked my head in. Is there a lot of chat happening in like the tier 2?
Yes,
Okay.
that's what makes up for it. Is that when you go to the 4 channel, I don't read REL 4
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
because it's like 5 divisions. It's
Right.
like 5 or 6. It's
Yeah, I think it's 5.
so many divisions.
Yeah.
Whereas yeah, Rel 2 one sees a lot more action because
Yep.
it's 2A and 2B, and like there's like several people in 2B I played against last season, or you
Mm-hmm.
saw them in the
Mm-hmm.
playoffs, or it's stuff like that. That's where the chat happens for Rel 2.
Yeah. Which yeah, that sounds like both pretty cool, but also like kind of a perk of being in that higher tier of just like having people like talk and yeah, be that engaged. Like you said, yeah, with tier 4 it is just a little more muddled or like, watered down because you have so many different 4 divisions and I don't quite honestly have time to follow all of them.
I don't follow anything but 4D.
Yeah, yeah, so
I follow 4D and I follow 2A, some amount of one is forced on me because the recap for 2A is shared with one. I wish it was 2A and 2B. That would be better for me,
yeah,
but
yeah,
whatever.
makes sense. Yeah. But yeah,
But this
this
match,
match.
which I think we only talked about the streamer so far, not the
Yeah,
actual match.
yeah. Uh, yeah, so
So
they
is this one you managed to catch, or is this one that I should just?
I'd say you take it away. I didn't get a
Okay.
chance to see this one really.
So yeah, yeah. So there was an aggressive push by the Flyboys at the end of the first quarter. Was I say the first like interesting thing that happened in this match?
Mm.
And there were some unfortunate ones that had the ball hit the ground after a failed pass.
Oh no.
They were just like really trying to move, and then it just turned into a scrum.
Yeah.
Um, and it was just a few turns until the Chaos Dwarves were able to work the ball free and move it up the field.
Mm-hmm.
The Dwarves then stall into turn 8, but they take it. This was just a straight up like accident. They
Mm.
take a bad angle on the blitz to free the ball carrier. It causes a failed turnover on a failed sure feet GFI
Oh no.
because of just like the angle they had to take to get out of there.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but the Dwarves managed to just hold the ball and score on turn 8. I don't know. My
Mm.
notes are a little confused here. I don't know what's going on there. Um,
It was that riveting you didn't even have time to type.
yeah, the problem was watching Pip-Bib's stream, and so I'm just like I get so caught up in like the emotionality of it
Yeah.
that I don't. But yeah, basically yeah. There was a. Okay, so yeah. So all right, I've worked it out. Sorry, humans get the drive at first. They have some bad luck with some ones.
Mm-hmm.
Dwarves turn them over, get a handle on the ball, start moving upfield, are able to score on turn 8.
Hmm.
Second half, Pip-Bib's feeling good.
Yeah.
He's up 1-0.
Getting the ball.
And things start off right. They get a removal on the line of scrimmage hits, and the Hobgoblin gets a vanity pass. That's why Alexander Gudinov has 30 player now, which we've been talking about for I think a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
It's neat, so now we can stop talking about that.
Yeah.
And then yeah, he was just like he just played it very conservatively after that. He
Yeah.
didn't need to score, right? He was up
Right.
1-0.
Right.
And so he just like slowly moves up the field, and it manages to work out that by turn 16 he gets in a scoring position and gets it done.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I don't have a lot of notes on Klepto's play. It's sort of the risk of watching someone stream is
Yeah.
it gets a bit harder to get into the other coach's perspective. I don't think he played
Right.
badly. I just think that like he lost. This was a match that could have easily been a 1-1 tie, and I think that would have been a reasonable result given these teams and like what we've seen of the skill of these coaches.
Mm-hmm.
He just got the wrong ones at the wrong time. Klepto Knight, that is.
Yeah.
Got the wrong ones at the wrong time.
Yeah.
Lost the ball, and Pip was able to take control, played well, scored on the other guy's drive, and well, that's 2-0.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, sorry for the confusion at the start there.
That's
a little
okay.
more careful.
Well, you watched more matches than me, so you get a pass. Does look like Klepto was able to get a nice level on a blitzer. That's pretty good.
Yeah, and dodge on that is nice. That's a double, and get an AG4 piece. That's a really beautiful safety, and it's going to be a really useful piece in this div, right? Hard piece to tie down. You can put him in the backfield, even if he's spark. He dodges free, AG4 dodge. He's got block and tackle.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so that's good. I mean, I think he's gone 2 matches and no dead blitzers yet.
Yeah.
That's my caster curse for the week.
No, I will say definitively he has turned a corner.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. But no, yeah, his team's looking really good, but yeah, like you said, it sounds like just the wrong dice at the wrong time.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. So on to our final match.
And this is what I think you did see.
Yes, I did. Front row seat. Uh, oh man, this match. Um, actually, I have a David in chat saying, "I wish I hadn't seen it." I think before we even say anything, I have a story and three pictures that I think describe how this match set the tone for this match.
Go for it. I have not seen these pictures, by the way.
So this
So
was
if they're just like terrible, it's on me.
no, this was the setup on turn one. This was the kickoff result, and this is uh, how things looked after that kickoff result.
Yeah.
The most lopsided pitch invasion I think I've ever seen or been part of.
Yeah. Described in my notes as a brutal pitch invasion.
Yeah, there's no other way to describe this. So yeah,
That's so bad.
it's so bad. Yeah, so this was on.
Well, you do have 8 fan factor to his 7, so you clearly deserve.
Yeah, exactly. Um, David saying it's like 7-1. Yeah, my one was just my Yeti, which like nobody wanted to touch anyway. At least
Nice
not.
piece, but like not relevant to this play.
No, yeah. So this was David's turn one. I got the toss and I put him on offense first, hoping to force a quick score, and this just opened everything up. This was not anything I was expecting at all.
Yeah. Well, and this was followed then by a Snake Eyes Dodge by David Leclerc's team,
Yeah,
an
yeah,
attempt to like somehow recover from this.
yeah,
And at that
yeah,
point, it was just it's like, well, that's that drive.
yeah. I will say that a little insight on like how I was thinking about it because I was freaking out.
Sure, I
Uh,
did stream this match.
yes, yeah, which I appreciate because I was able to. Yes, to protect the foul, David. That is exactly what I was like. Oh my gosh, do I foul? Do I go for this ball? Do I foul or do I go for this ball? And it was the toughest decision because if you look in the inducements, I got two bribes and I got
Mm-hmm.
Boomer. Um,
Oh, that was the other sadness is that because you turned him over and scored like instantly,
yeah,
Boomer was on the field for like 2 turns.
yep, yeah. Boomer didn't do too much at all. Didn't get to throw a bomb, but that's fine. Like, yeah, I had to. I
Bombardiers are garbage, anyways.
Jesus, your anti-bombardier rhetoric has no place. Um, yeah, so it was tempting, right? Because all of those pieces, if you looked at that shot, Michael Jackson was on the ground, Aldir was on the ground, or yeah, I'm not sure if Aldir was, but they,
Most pieces you could guess, and that team piece is probably on the ground.
yep. I mean, the catcher was on the ground, or the thrower, but he was all the way in the back, so wasn't gonna foul him for sure. But yeah, so it took me a while to figure out what to do here. Like you would think of an open field of stunned elves, you'd be able to figure out right away, but I had to think about it because
There is no turn that I find more stressful than when I have an opportunity.
yeah,
Like if things are going bad for me, it's like there's probably only one path out of there,
yeah,
and I may take a minute to find it. But like when things are like really opened up like that, I'll take 2-3 minutes just like stare at it, be like, because
yeah.
you just feel like if you waste it, right?
Oh my gosh.
That's so awful.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, so I played aggressive for the ball. I think I did get a foul in somewhere, but it wasn't on Michael Jackson. Or even like the plus strength lineman or anything like that.
But and as we can see, the elves took no meaningful damage.
Yep. Um, yeah. Uh, thanks for pointing that out. But yeah, so managed to score in turn two, and then I got another turnover, and this was the point at which like David and I were chatting a bit, and he was just like, "This is the most frustrating game I've ever played," just because like nothing was working for him, everything was working for me, and there was nothing he could do. Like he was, just trying to set something in motion, and nothing was working out.
And that's just going to happen to you sometimes, right? There's just going to be that game where nothing goes right.
Yeah, 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 exactly. Uh,
Because yeah, I believe it was like a failed pickup, right, on their second attempt at a drive
yep,
that opened up that second score. At that point, it's 2-0 on
yeah,
their drive.
yeah, yeah. Which against Wood Elves, there was still opportunity, right? And I
Right.
still had to be on my toes.
I mean, yeah,
Uh,
David Leclerc did not give up. Like
right, right.
he kept going at it.
Did I get a did I get a did I get a blitz on the second
I don't have that in my
one?
notes, but
Mm,
I see. Yeah, the reason I worry about that because the note I have is Norris take the ball again off a failed pickoff, score again, go into second half 2-0 on their drive.
yeah,
So I don't think that was a blitz. I don't think it was a
yeah.
blitz. I think it was just you went for it, you couldn't get it up, and um,
It was
then the Norse just like flooded in. It
yeah,
probably felt like a blitz
yeah,
because you didn't have enough around the ball because you hadn't picked it up and just you didn't have enough pieces in the area.
yeah. That's what I remember. I think like the ball was to, if you're looking from my perspective, the ball was to the left-hand side, and all
Mhm.
his players were on the right. He was hoping to get it picked up real quick with a thrower and move up, and the pickup failed, and there was only like a war dancer in the way or something
That
like that.
that sounds right to me. That matches my recollection. I did watch from your perspective since you were the home team,
Yeah. Um,
and I'm obviously as a caster incredibly biased towards you.
Jeez. It's yeah. But this, I mean, this almost turned actually. When I went back and watched the tape, I there was definitely a mistake that I was making with that second half, and a part of it was just like so flooded with like uh, different thoughts about what I should be doing, like A, fouling more pieces, B, trying to get that ball. Uh, it's unlikely that I'm going to get that ball, so I got to do some other things. Yeah, David points it out. He failed a couple key sacks on the ball
Yeah.
that, like, one, I probably should have done better on protecting against. I should have got the ball to my sure hands thrower.
Mhm.
And uh,
Given that there's a
given that there was strip ball just sitting right there. And he did get one successful sack, but the ball bounced right into another player's hands, into
yeah.
Partey's hands, actually. Um, everyone, the people's hero, really. Uh, and so, yeah,
An
it
enemy
was.
of the people.
uh, so, yeah, it was just, there wasn't anything that David could do, it seemed like, to really make that happen for him. Um, but yeah, I think it definitely could have shifted when that blitz went down and that ball scattered out. There were not many good spaces for me because he still had an agility 5 piece that could run in and grab it, but it landed right in somebody else's hands, and that was that.
And as we can see in terms of the damage game, uh,
Can we
not
see
great for the
anything?
Norse.
Do we see anything for the damage game?
Yeah,
Uh,
so yeah, the high elves. I'm sorry, the wood elves come out of it well. Too badly hurts.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
that's that's fine. Um,
yeah.
but yeah, that armor bust on Jonheim and Jambalaya, that's
Mm-hmm.
gotta suck, right?
It
You already have
absolutely
one
does.
move
Yeah,
busted Berserker. You thought that was the bad one.
yeah,
Turns out this is the bad.
yeah.
Nigel on Dragon's Milk. Obviously, you don't fire him, but that's unfortunate. And just in terms of having people on the field, uh, well, we could talk a little bit about Partey. How he left the pitch. That didn't come up. Because I think there was a extended if you watched my stream, there was an extended segment of this guy leaving the
Oh
field.
man. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
so with two bribes, why don't you tell us how this went down?
Okay. So this is going to be in the section of what we learned this week, which is mostly what I learned this week, which is apparently uh, bribes aren't just a one and done thing, I guess is a way to put it.
Mhm.
Yeah, I had something for this.
Yeah, I mean, I think we've mostly talked about this match. If you sort of want to segue into that,
Yeah. Yeah, I mean the second half went a little better for David, but again there's just a lot of time. Um, I was able to, I think, score relatively quickly on my in my second half. It was kind of a blur at that point. Um, but then, yeah, he was able to score back, and then injure some pieces. But yeah, what we learned this week, and I wish I had some like fun little dun 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 dun, dun music, but just imagine it in your head. With bribes, you can actually use as many bribes as you want on the same sending off. Um, so yeah, if the first one fails, you can use another if you have more than one. I didn't know this, so I can't remember the last time I had more than one bribe. And when Party did a foul, I think at the end of the toward the end of the first half, and failed the bribe. I thought that was it. The UI was a little weird to me. I was like, why am I still on this bribe screen? Um, and I just exited out of it. Um, but what Cyanide was trying to tell me was that I can still use bribes to keep this player on the pitch. Which, as Sir Kodiak pointed out in his stream, and why I wanted to bring this up, is like I 100% should have tried to keep him on if I could. I don't remember if at that point. So I took two bribes, and I ended up getting a second one or a third one on the kickoff result.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you had one at that point, but yeah, the general rule is true that you can keep spending bribes until they're gone, which I learned playing goblins a little bit ago.
Yeah. So that's a little bit about Blood Bowl rules, and yeah, used one. I think yeah, definitely should have used another. Um, but then yeah, we both of us got another one after that point. And
But yeah, that's one of the things that's good to know is
yep,
keep your like 100K fouling piece on the field.
yep, that is what we learned this week. So, yeah.
Actually, I apologize, 120K.
Oh yeah. He's pretty pricey.
Yeah, so I think that's the review portion.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Now we can move on to the preview portion.
Yep. And yeah, first match of the week is Mean Green and Thick versus Cross of the Empire.
Yeah. So yeah, these are two teams, very close TV. There's gonna be very little inducement action going on here. This could be interesting.
Yeah.
One thing that jumps out to me with this is the orc team we were talking about how much tackle it has
Mm-hmm.
up against the elf team, which without much dodge.
Yep. Right. So it's not going to be 100% useful, but you are excited to have it for that agility 5 blodge blitzer, blodge tackle blitzer. Especially mighty blow connected to that, because that's one of two AV8 pieces for Cross of the Empire.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But yeah, I think this is another interesting one because the TV differential is not there. Like I think for the orcs, they have everything they want. The elves have some nice pieces, but then a lot of they'll have a couple loners. They'll have some other line elves. The two guard linos are nice, but orcs aren't really what you want to be punching. I guess you could use that to just get away. But yeah,
there'll be uses for those, right? Where you got to put a piece in the right. You gotta base somebody up, but it's gonna be like hopefully only 1 or 2 turns a game. If those guard pieces are coming in useful like turn after turn, they're gonna be gone. Particularly the AB6 one.
Yeah. So this could be. I mean, this could be a good opportunity for Mean Green and Thick to, continue his rise into the upper half of the division.
Yeah.
But it also, like, Cross of the Empire could play spoiler here, and I don't know that they're necessarily super underdogs. I just think we've seen Mean Green and Thick play uh, very conservatively against elves, and so if if the elves cage dive isn't working, and like he barely like let anything be much of an opportunity against high elves.
Hmm.
Um, I think it's just going to be tough, even though these pros have a few more tools with the plus agility plus strength catcher and the blitzer. Still think it's going to be really tough because the orcs are just going to stand there and then punch a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, and what I look at is like you have two teams that both need more development, but I feel like the orcs at this stage of development are more functional
Mm-hmm.
than the pro elves, where they're looking at like you have these two guard pieces with neither block nor dodge.
Mm-hmm.
You've got that AG5 strength 4 guy with neither block nor dodge or like any skills that make that piece useful. It's really only the two blitzers that are, and I guess the thrower,
Mm-hmm.
that are leveled
Yep.
up in ways that make them like immediately functional.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that's going to be the problem for the pro elves. So yeah, I would expect to see the orcs do better here.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And as we can see, this one's been scheduled for Sunday afternoon.
Yeah.
And yeah, this is one I can imagine streaming if no one else picks it up. And I don't know if
Nice.
either of these coaches do it.
I think Gojira can stream sometimes. It
Okay,
just
so
depends on like yeah, if something's going on in his house or something like that.
yeah, we'll see. If he does it, obviously he'll do it. But if not,
Yeah.
maybe pick it up.
Yeah. That's great. Next up is Arf Arf I'm an Elf versus Goblins.dce.
Hmm.
Another team name mishmash, and yeah, this one should be really interesting. I think
Yeah.
because you got Goblins.dc limping in a little bit. They're gonna get some inducement money for their troubles, but
Yeah.
like two key pieces, one
Yeah.
that you probably would love to have against
This
Necro.
is of the two
Both of them
Stormvermin. This
really.
is more of a pile driver match than a War Chief match.
Yep. Yep. Definitely. Um,
Though
yeah.
there is one two there will be three dodge pieces on the field
Yeah. Yeah.
for
Um,
the Necro.
yeah. I mean, unfortunately, the most, generally speaking, the most vulnerable one is not all that vulnerable because it's got block and strength up in Stone
Yeah.
Reaper. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, you could target the whites with that. But yeah, not a whole lot. It's not a
And
target
Juggernaut's
rich
not.
environment.
There is two stand firm pieces, so
Oh
Juggernaut's
yeah,
good.
Juggernaut. That's right. That's right. Um, yeah, that is actually not bad. You could go after that
Because there,
Gladrill.
there will be, and there could be times where, for example, those flesh golems get like pushed into the Skaven cage or something, and like War Chief could be like, no, we're not gonna put up with that.
Yeah, and Tim's got three pretty damn good gutter runners.
Yeah.
As,
Even without Kiki Jiki.
yeah, like Triform Cutter's great for this matchup. Um, there's no sure hands, but it's having that Dauntless, having that wrestle and two heads means that
That's a dangerous piece.
absolutely yeah.
And
So
Dauntless means that like even the strength of Ghoul, like it's a harder Dauntless check, but it
hmm
can be done.
yeah. So I think yeah, Ponosaurus is definitely gonna have to play this one tight. Got if you're Tim, what are you taking for inducements here?
Wizard plus 160k of other things.
Well, yeah, yeah, for sure. I was gonna say
Apothecary and a Bloodweiser Babe.
yeah, yep, yeah. You don't want to limp in to your yeah. You don't want to have the seesaw effect where you're limping in one match and then more pieces are missing for the next match and so
I
on
don't
and
think
so
there's a
forth.
good 160k worth of a star player. Like if Glart were available,
Yeah.
you would take Glart,
Yep. Yep.
maybe. But I'm looking up Skaven and
I think he's
yeah, Glart's 210.
yeah.
160 gets you Skitter Stab.
Mm,
I don't like him in this.
nope. I mean
Against
the
Elf team
movement's
maybe, but
nice, but
I
yeah,
mean he's fast, but like stabbing and shadowing and all like his
yeah.
like bullshit.
He doesn't have
Uh,
block, right?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Skitter
So,
Stab, yeah, is loner, dodge, prehensile tail, shadowing, stab, and there's one ghoul on the field, and he's
yeah.
strength I don't know.
Yeah,
No,
I don't like
I would
that.
think the Apothecary and the Bloodwiser Babe are more valuable. And
Yep.
obviously, the Wizard, you have to do the Wizard.
Yeah, yeah,
And I'm fully confident Tim Nielsen will do the Wizard.
yeah, yeah, and I mean, it does have a lot of fodder to kind of throw into the blender a little bit, and it's not a ferocious blender as far as these necros
There's like
go.
one Mighty Blow piece. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean the strength up frenzy piece is still like that's extra block dice that's rolling against you. I mean,
And you
yeah,
don't need a lot to take alignment out, right?
right,
Because he's AP7. And of
yeah,
course, there's Claw. So
right,
like there could easily be losses, but it's not like the scariest match.
yeah, yeah. But yeah, I agree.
You're more out straight. Like I think like Necro is going to play in as a control team here as much as
Mm,
it will a kill team.
yes, yeah, they do have to be pretty careful. Um, and I do agree. You get that second Apo, and maybe if it's like something like a badly hurt to one of your really important pieces in the first half, I would consider
Yeah,
doing.
the remaining Storm Vermin with 3 gutter runners,
Hmm.
particularly Triform Cutter needs to stay on the field
Yep,
if you're looking to win.
yep, yep. Um,
Unless it's like super late, right? Let's
oh
whatever.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But
Right.
in general,
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, this could be interesting. You got goblins.dc at 200 and Arfar Prime and Elf 1 and 101. So yeah, this could be interesting match for positioning in the division.
yeah. And this again would be one where like, so yeah, this is scheduled for tomorrow at Friday at
Yeah,
9 p.m. Eastern.
yeah,
I would love to see this streamed.
yeah. Same. Um, maybe one of us could do that. We'll
Yeah,
see.
we'll see like how each
Yeah,
of us are doing. But we'll
yeah. I
try to
might.
get it done. Like
Yeah,
I will make an attempt to stream this match or join your stream if you're around,
yeah,
uh, if that can get done because this should be a really cool matchup.
yeah. Uh, I might be around. It's a 50-50, but we'll see.
Yeah. Oh, see how things go.
Yeah. All right. Peak altitude versus Sterling Hornets. This one should be interesting.
Mhm.
Uh, Peak altitude getting another. Well,
Yeah, our weekly elf off.
yeah. Which I think actually went live while we were streaming. About
I believe that is correct.
yeah. So yeah, I guess we have it here as for tonight at 8:30. So that was about an hour ago.
Yeah, so it's probably not done yet, but this will be our opinion, not knowing how it's going.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Um, I mean, Sterling Hornets have been absolutely solid. I think it's, and we've talked about peak altitude needing more tools.
Mhm.
Whereas like after the last match for Sterling Hornets, they got a few more tools, and it's kind of a rich get richer sort of thing
Yeah.
for them. 110 in inducement money to peak altitude. They do have a lot of cash.
Yeah, so the 210, so yeah, that 110 assumes that the 1480 80 team value assumes that the 210 gets spent down to at most 150,
Hmm.
which I'm guessing is, yeah, you're going to buy alignment, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Haven't looked, but that would make sense. And I could
Hmm.
see spending a little bit extra. I mean, it's 40 to get a wizard is the problem. You wish it
Yeah,
was a little less.
yeah. Like 20 would be fine.
20,
Maybe
yeah,
even
10 or 10
30.
or 20, I would definitely spend. 40 is a lot,
Yeah, yeah.
but it would
Especially
be
if you've
tempting.
been hemorrhaging pieces.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be tempting against this matchup, right?
Yeah. Though elves it's less good against because they can carry deep.
Yeah,
And then that strong arm thrower can just be like, cool, I'm going to throw at 6. And then that guy's going to run 7. And then he's going to hand off to a guy who's going to run another 7.
yeah, yeah. And I guess, I mean, my thought was like, you don't necessarily need to save for replacement pieces after a match like this, but you really never know.
You never know.
I mean,
And high
this,
elves are really expensive. That's the thing,
yeah,
is if something does happen to go, it's an expensive piece
right.
because they're all expensive pieces.
Yes, yeah. Well, and you've seen like Sterling Hornets has 6 casualties that they've inflicted this season
Yeah.
in 2 matches.
Yeah.
That's I mean, the first one was an elf off. I'm already forgetting what the second one was, but yeah, that's still pretty good. I mean, Peak Altitude had an elf off, and they only have 1 cas over 2 games, so yeah. So yeah, this will be interesting to see how it ends up, um, which I guess we'll know in a
Yeah,
little bit.
both of Sterling and Hornets' opponents have been elves so far. They played Cross of the Empire,
Okay, yeah,
which is that's the which one is that?
that's the other pro
Yeah.
elves.
All right. Yeah. So yeah, it's they and then the previous one we just talked about was why am I just struggling to find this? Sorry, the Sidai Slickers, which is again a wood elf
Yeah,
team. So
yep,
it
yep,
was
yep,
287 elf teams.
yep, yep, yep. Okay, okay, yeah, a little different, but even still, they're yeah.
So
Um,
I expect that like Kaz differential where they're like up to like not be the case at the end of the season.
yeah, yeah, right.
But still, it's got so much block and dodge that it's hard to do damage to. It's gonna have a lot of pieces on the field, and it can just hit things down,
Yeah.
particularly against these high elves, which half the team is not gonna have block or wrestle.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, I think it could be another one like the match Sterling Hornets just had, which is that if the elf shenanigans go against them or like doesn't work out for them but works out for the opponent, it yeah, we could see it on the other hand, but I think we're both probably saying that Sterling Hornets is the favorite here.
It's small note on this team, the Sterling Hornets. They had been carrying a niggled rookie lineman. They fired them to replace him with Marion Ellenway, that rookie thrower.
Hmm. Yeah, that's
So
good.
because they had been over 150 in cash after the last match,
Mm-hmm.
so they spent down to 100
Huh.
and just sort of like upgraded a niggled lineman to a rookie thrower,
Huh.
which that's something you see on high elf. I'm sorry, like pro elf teams or like elf teams in general, where there's two throwers. Is you build two throwers with different skill sets.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be surprised to see one differentiate into like an offensive thrower where like they get the ball and they carry it, and then one is just
Mm-hmm.
someone who you field on defense.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's more like Logi.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, because I guess even Hawkeye is like not necessarily set in its path, right? The strong,
Yeah, and Hawkeye could turn into that because but
yeah, because it's got block already, and strong arm's just nice to have if you
yeah.
want to like chuck the ball. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, really curious to see how this one turns out. I almost want to like half stream it after this, but yeah, it's a lot of Blood Bowl.
We could talk about that. If it hits the end and you want to do a stream of it, I'd probably be on board.
Cool. All right. Well, yeah,
We'll see.
yeah.
Right, next
Uh,
match.
yeah. Next match: Skaven Rat Rodents versus Goatwork Orange. And
Yeah, Chaos versus Camry.
yeah, we're back in the Kemry Stadium, which is exciting. Both teams getting a bribe at no cost, and they're gonna have 230 inducements. Which is that just two bribes?
Man, it could be right.
Yeah,
Just get spell the hell out of those chaos. I
yeah,
wouldn't hate it, right? Like that's a way to win this match. Is you don't have claw,
yeah.
and so you can. But the way you fake claw is that if there's 5 assists, then it's like super claw.
Yeah, I think that's the alternative name for it.
Yeah.
Rat the Third Super Claw Inducer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I wouldn't hate it. So what else? I mean, Igor's still like bugged, right? Do you even like?
Igor's bugged. You don't do Igor.
Yeah. So, and it's like I don't know. I think in regen you trust
Yeah.
and
I mean,
press your advantage.
I would either do 2 bribes or I do Satek, who's 220.
Ooh yeah. I think he did Satek in his first. Wait, has he only played one match?
I
Is
believe
that
so.
right? Oh. Oh, he missed the first. Hmm.
Did he? Or did I screw up?
Hmm. He might have been one of the two teams that. No, no, because that was the Skaven team. Yeah, I think he played the first week.
Yeah, that's just me, my mess up. That should be 002.
Okay, okay, okay. Yeah, yeah. It
That'll
looks
be
like
that'll be fixed for next week.
you have him charted, in one spot and then going to the next. Just yeah.
Yeah, that was just I'm sure that was it was 001, and I forgot to update
Yeah.
the that
Okay.
thing.
Okay.
Mistakes will happen.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Until you get Major Byte to create a bot that fills all this for
Don't tease me with that.
you. But But yeah, so I actually don't. Oh, because I think in his first match he did go with Satek, um, and I think we were questioning it because I can't remember the matchup, but it was like, that's interesting. I feel like we like maybe even like streamed part of it or something. I don't remember, but um, I,
No, in his first match, he did a Wizard of Bribe and two Blood Wizard Babes, and I think we
oh,
said he should have done Satek
oh, okay,
instead of the. We said
yeah,
we said he should have done Satek instead of
instead
the
of a
Wizard and the Babe.
wizard, yeah, 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 yeah,
So yeah, he has been not doing Satek, and we keep saying he should do Satek.
yeah. So
That
much
said,
so that we thought he
of
did.
things to do, I would say two bribes.
Yeah.
I feel way better about than
Oh, than a wizard and a babe.
yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah. 100%. I mean, I guess in the no, I mean I don't even want to attempt it, but against Chaos isn't especially fast, so I I wouldn't hate it if he did it. But I like
Wizard?
two bribes better.
The Wizard? No, I would still hate it.
Okay. Not even as a defensive wizard?
No,
Okay. Not even to just bolt little umph because you hate little umph? Nobody hates little umph. I'm just
no,
kidding.
no one hates Little Lump. He's adorable.
Yeah.
Uh,
And disgusting at the same
and
time.
disgusting. I think that just makes it more beautiful.
Spoken as a true Nurgle coach.
Yeah. There's that. I would take a Pestigor over a Beastman any day of the week,
Yeah.
and it's certainly a Nurgle warrior over a Chaos warrior. Like those flips they do as they
Uh,
hit, those are ridiculous. A Nurgle warrior just kicks a guy. That's plenty.
that kick's pretty good. Yeah.
But yeah, no, I could see doing Satek. I could see doing a couple bribes. I would very much dislike a wizard.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean this match is interesting because Go Work Orange isn't going to score more than 2 touchdowns unless something goes really wild. And if you as Skaven like or damn it, as you as Kemri faking as Skaven, get like a bunch of removals, yeah, I think you can make something happen in this one. Um,
I think this could go either way.
yeah,
I think
yeah.
the stuff that Craig Pipup is missing in terms of development, he can live with in this matchup.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. No
And
tackle,
he's
no
got
problem.
yeah, exactly. No tackle, no problem. He does have the second blitz raw at least,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yep.
this is a fine
Yep.
match
That's
for it
great.
because yeah, there's only one dodge piece. Just having block is worth something,
Yeah.
and more movement. So I think he can get good inducements, and yeah, I like two. The problem with two bribes is you already gain one for free.
Yeah. That is
That's why I
one
might
thing.
do Satek.
Yeah. 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 And I was gonna say like maybe you'd want tackle for Little Umph, but as we've established, nobody messes with Little Umph because you'll just roll snakes and not even be able to hit him.
Or Fowler will actually do a thing, which I believe was
Well,
happening in the first match.
yeah, that's what I was getting at. Snakes,
And
snakes in the final appearance.
and David Leclerc pointing out that 4-0 guard is rough. Well, it's 4-1 guard. But that said,
Yeah,
the strength advantage does a lot to make up for that.
yeah. I think it
I think
depends.
it's okay.
I think it could. It all depends on the positioning game.
Yeah, if it turns into like a really concentrated scrum, then that guard can win out.
Yep.
If it turns into lots of engagement across a line, then you can use the Strength 5 Tomb Guardians to isolate Chaos Warriors.
Mm-hmm.
And at that point, things can get real bad for Troxbirds.
Yeah. Though it does have.
And of course, there's gonna be like what happens in the first 2-3 turns, who gets removals.
Mhm,
If there's a
mhm.
Tomb Guardian off the field, if there's a Chaos Warrior off the field, that can swing things by a lot.
Yeah. Which is why I think we're going back to 2 more bribes isn't a bad thing. But you do have to use them. And that's kind of the tough point. Like 3 is a lot.
3 is a lot.
But yeah, I don't know. This one will be fun, and yeah, hopefully Traxbirds.
Here's what I'm gonna put towards you. 1 bribe and hack and slash.
Whoa.
You probably don't do that. I don't think
No,
you actually don't want to do that.
no.
That's just me making noise.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I was with you for half a second, then I'm like, yeah.
No,
I
it
don't know.
just sounded cute. You have a perfectly good Fallon piece in Wrath the Third.
Yep. One that's not gonna like KO himself when he tries to foul.
Because it really seems like sort of like either Satek or 2 bribes, or you make a mistake and you do Wizard and Blood Wizard Bane.
We're so bad. But yeah, I do think, like we're saying, this could go either. This could go either way. This could be fun.
Oh, and in one note, Creamsicle, we've been talking about is level up, which hasn't been assigned yet. That's a normal level up.
Okay. Okay.
So that the TV of 1680 is correct,
Yeah.
unless you buy something. And I'm curious to see what he does there. Right?
Yeah.
There's two ways to go. You can do the Hessenite route where you add another Mighty Blow piece that eventually gets Claw,
Mm-hmm.
and that's fine. Or you could do stand firm and be like, this dude's done.
Yeah. Yeah. Would you?
But those are the only two options.
Okay. All right. We'll end that there.
No, what were you going to say?
I was gonna say, would you be tempted to like to put tackle on him?
No.
All right. That's what it's. Yeah. That's that.
So it would just be such a weird piece. Just aesthetically, I couldn't live with that.
Yeah. Okay.
I think Hessenite, you give him tackle. I think
Mm,
T-Rose, you give him tackle. I think Atomic Tangerine, you give him tackle. I
sure.
think Amber, you could give him tackle. I think Creamsicle
Clownfish.
gets Stand Firm or Mighty Blow.
Yeah. Damn it.
Well, Creamsicle already has guard, so I would not take guard.
Yeah. I was gonna say, like, who are we talking about? Or maybe.
Circus Peanut gets guard.
Oh, he meant tackle. Yeah.
Oh, tackle. Yeah, no.
Ba-da-ba-da-ba-ba. I'm so bad at
I
tapping.
still don't do it. I just hate it too much. I understand the argument of you need tackle ASAP, but he has, and here's part of my argument. He has like 3-4 pieces that aren't Creamsicle that are like
Mm,
within like 2-3 SPP of leveling.
yeah, I guess you mentioned that before. That
Um,
right. T Rose
if
being
that
one of
was
those,
not the
right?
case, if T Rose was not a touchdown away from leveling, I would consider tackle. But T Rose is such a perfect piece to put tackle on.
Yep. Yep. Okay. Yeah,
But
and I think Atomic Tangerine is close too, right?
yeah,
So yeah, those yeah, you get those two, and it's suddenly becomes something we stop talking about.
yeah,
So cool.
yeah.
Next one's Silkwood City Slickers versus Tainted Brewers. Ooh boy. Oh man. I, this one's gonna be tough for the High Elves. I mean for the Wood Elves, I think.
Yeah, this is a nice Dwarf team.
Yeah. Yep.
And this is a Wood Elf team with a fair bit of dodge on it, which is good. You want to see
Yeah.
that, which means that all that tackle, however, comes into play. And so you're going to just see Pim base everybody up, I would assume, continuously.
Yeah. Beer
He's
stick.
got Alexander Gunov's got his dirty player finally.
Mm-hmm,
So that's
yeah. Yeah. That'll
one
be
silver
cool.
lining is that 200 inducements.
Mm-hmm. Probably Wizard and Babe, I'd imagine. What's the 190? 190 in cash is gonna get spent down. We're assuming.
That is assuming that gets spent down. It'll be
Yeah.
240 if it doesn't.
That's right. He did that very same thing for the last match. Just like threw it all at cheerleaders and then fired them. Yeah, I mean, so it is. You do get a wizard if you're the Wood Elves, and chores are really slow. So I don't know. Things could happen.
Yeah, I think the thing you run into with this is that so much of the Wood Elf game that makes them like really powerful is that cage dive.
Mm,
And when you have 5 guard pieces, it's not hard to have 2 cage joiners with
God.
guard. And there's
Yeah.
a sure hands hobbo to stand in the center.
With Fend.
With
It's got
with block and
Fend.
fend.
So-
Yeah, so okay, he's got sure hands to neutralize strip ball, and he's got fend to neutralize frenzy. So
Yep.
both of the war dancers can't do their thing.
Yeah. So do you just like bolt this guy turn 1, and then to go run after the ball?
Maybe, but you don't have. But the problem is your
Oh,
recovery is
don't
bad
have
because you
kick.
don't have any agility increases.
Oh yeah, you don't have that. You don't have kick to put it where you want it. If you're on defense first, even.
Yeah.
So who even knows about that?
I mean, it's a nice Wood Elf team. I'm not trying to like.
Yeah. Well, it could be there's things that can happen, right? Like I mean, we already showcased Raven Poe doing some fancy things with Frenzy and getting his tree on things. He's got the tree and probably getting grab on it, which could change things up a little bit. I don't know.
Yeah,
It's not.
Pimpin lets his cage get in range of that tree. Things can get bad.
Yeah. It's not out of the range of possibility. It will be. I do think it's uphill just because we've seen Tainted Brewers be very, very chill in the face of agility and just this is my game. This is what I'm doing. I got it.
Mhm.
And I think it's not going to be too frazzled by the Wood Elf Razzle Dazzle. And like you said, there's no agility ups on this team, unlike pretty much all of our other elf teams in the division.
Yeah.
So this is another one I'm excited to see, and hopefully we'll find out when that's going down. But
And that'll presumably be streamed by Pim Pim.
yep, 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 yep. So, and we'll try to watch that one, not completely through the streamer's eyes, but we'll
Yeah.
see. Yeah, this will be fun. And then I think this is the last one.
Nope. One more after this.
Oh, cool, cool. I'm used to being last, but yeah, Rats and Nim versus My Hell's Kitchen.
Yep.
Rats and Nim again getting a boatload of inducement money. They're gonna be missing one gutter runner for this match, the two heads. I'm gonna be missing two tackle pieces.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
Yeah. Hey, I'm even on Kaz taken, Kaz given, and so are they. Yeah, I don't know. You want to go first on this one?
I mean, every match that Opie Cubby plays is uphill.
Yeah.
Because of the state of his team, which is not anything against him. It's just, he hasn't had that long with it.
Mm-hmm.
Curious to see how he spends his inducements, right?
Yep.
I don't think that a Halfling Master Chef would serve him well in this match.
Yeah.
Norse have so much block, and you've got it on, just from the start amount they start with, and you've got it on the Ulfs, that, you have a fairly reliable team.
Yeah.
You can survive without rerolls. You got sure hands on the thrower. He's got pass. You got catch on one of your runners. You can even move the ball around without having to spend rerolls. You can live in a one reroll world. You have to be careful, but you can get away with it.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a bad investment. I would do the wizard, of course. Norse aren't slow, but they're not fast, and so you can take advantage of it there. The gutter runners are certainly faster. And then I would look at that's 410 remaining. I wouldn't
310.
Sorry, 310 remaining. I wouldn't hate Glart and Apothecary.
Yeah.
Apothecary is going to make sense. Billy Cheese Dog is going to screaming at those gutter runners when they get in range. He's not going to be very good at it.
I was going to say
five.
Screaming as slowly as
he'll be screaming, and then he'll get like 2 squares short of them. He'll be like expert.
I got you. Yeah.
But I assume you'll base up a ton. You can afford to. There's nothing he's going to do to you. Except for the Roger.
The Roger. Yeah, that Roger, man.
Oh, man, I do want to see that. That when I tune into this, that's what I want to see is the Roger versus Yeti.
Oh, my gosh.
Showdown.
It's going to get stupid.
2 wild animals, 2 friends. One's got Mighty Blow, one's got Claw. Mighty Blow is, of course, better in that matchup.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
But
yeah, overall, for sure. Yeah, this has all the makings for me as a trip game. Like I don't know. I think the wizard, and it's not like he's gonna be short players. I think, right? Like even with the gutter running missing, I think he's at 11, and then if he gets Glart, he's at 12.
No, he's at 12 already.
Oh my god! With the gutter runner missing,
he's a 13-man team.
Yeah, so like, I'm not gonna be able to get ahead on fouling unless like things just like miraculously go my way with one Mighty Blow piece. I don't think so. So like, I'm gonna have to play this like, even though there's not a lot of skills in the opponent team, like we already talked about, gutter runners.
One of the best skills, which is movement 9.
Yeah.
And HG4 and dodge.
And we haven't even talked about it yet.
Oh right, Martin Brisby, who is now a natural one turner.
Yeah.
He doesn't have everything he needs, right? He wants sure feet. He'd like block to stay alive better. He will get better, but he's a natural one turner.
He's a natural one turner. Yeah. So there's
and you're only fielding 11. So if there's removals by the time he tries it, it just gets easier for him.
It's gonna be so easy. Yeah, I gotta look up defenses for that. Yeah,
it's hard for Norse. Norse are not good at it.
It's really hard. Yeah, I mean, so yeah, it's gonna be. I'll have to think about it a little bit more as far as like if I win the toss, like what do I do? Because he's got the bench to like mask. Like he doesn't have to put that one turner out until he needs to. No. So like if I go on offense first, he can put him on the sideline, have him ready for turn 8, or before if like some reason gets me to score quickly. Yeah, I'm
This is
not
a tough one for you.
yeah, I'm not overlooking it because I had many matches last season against agility teams that happen to have a wizard, which I don't know. There might have been a reason for in the form of a hero of the people. But yeah, I it's tough, and
It's
hopefully I learned some things from that as far as like how to not be a dummy around a wizard and agility teams. But I think even you can play this smart and still get smoked with gutter runners that uh, have movement up, or even the one that just says sprint. Like it's just you
yeah.
know it's just going
Uh,
extra fast for no reason.
yeah, the advantage you have is he doesn't have the like I'm going to get into the cage and take your ball
That's
gutter
true.
runner built
Yeah,
up yet. He's going to have the wizard,
yeah,
so there'll be that one attempt at it. But you can try to build in layers, right?
mhm,
You can try
mhm,
to protect against it,
yeah.
and hopefully not have that be disastrous. And after that, he's less good than a lot of Skaven teams. I say compared to the other Skaven team in this dip
Yeah,
when it comes to
yeah, yeah,
getting taking the ball away from you.
yeah. Which will be my next opponent, so it'll be Skaven, Skaven. But hopefully, I mean, hopefully Villy survives this game, so I can have both my Mighty Blow tackle for that.
Yeah.
But we'll see. We'll see.
Well,
Yeah.
and the other one, and Jotunheim's protected, so it's
Yeah.
definitely gonna be available. And Dragon's Bone.
Yeah. The one thing I'll say is that I am. I mean, it's really nice to be facing against two Storm Vermin that don't have like Mighty Blow or other things. Like, I hopefully can mitigate the damage against me. Outside
Yeah.
of probably a fireball that's gonna melt my players, but um, yeah, this it still may not mean that I win the game, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah. So we'll see. I think it'll be a fun match, but
Mhm.
yeah.
And I take it you don't know when you're playing this yet.
Nope.
Okay.
I haven't had a chance to reach out to them yet or heard from them yet. So we shall see. They just played last night, so
Yeah.
just gonna give them a moment. All right. So now that's our last match.
Yes.
Flyboys versus All Bark No Bite. Um, yeah. Wow. Flyboys getting 230 in inducements.
Yeah, they're one of the bigger teams in the div, and they're still getting a lot because,
Yeah.
yeah, David Leclerc's All Bark No Bite is deluxe.
I was gonna say maybe more bite than he's telling us, but yeah. So this one, um, this is the battle of the Agiop.
Yeah.
This is
Unfortunately, one of those started at AG3 and one started at AG4.
yeah. You're spot on there. Um, yeah, and the humans being a little higher up on the leaderboard right now because of touchdown differential.
Yeah.
Um, David Leclerc. Um,
His one loss was by a lot,
yeah, yeah,
as always we just talked about.
yeah. Though I just remembered, I think I got the order on all that wrong. I think I was able to. Well, no, and it doesn't matter. But yeah, so but they're coming in without taking any real damage. So their team's ready to go. I'm guessing he wanted to get a little bit more cash because he's been saying he wants to get a tree at some point.
Yeah.
Which I think would do him well. I was really glad to not have to face that in our
Mm.
match. Um, but yeah, Flyboys, as we talked about, like they have some really nice pieces too. And air power being a
It's a
pretty
great piece.
being pretty ready to rumble. Chuck Yeager's great. The thrower's great, but it's gonna be a lot to answer.
Well, and this is something we keep talking about in this div, but only one tackle piece.
Man.
And it's a good tackle piece. I mean, it doesn't have mighty blow.
Yeah.
You'd like to have mighty blow on it, but it's AG4 blodge tackle. That's pretty good. It's gonna be good at running at things.
Yeah.
It's just not gonna do a lot of damage. You're gonna rely on other things to do damage, which means it's gonna be harder to do on pieces that have dodge.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, we saw for my match, I had a mighty blow tackle piece
Mhm.
with piling on, and I couldn't do much.
Yeah.
I mean, there was weird circumstances, I guess, but I don't know. I think I wasn't even thinking about damage. I'm just thinking about how do you defend against 4 agility up? What else?
It's hard.
Um, they do have 3 guard, so that'll certainly help. Oh, 4 guard, yeah, with the ogre. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, with 230 and inducements, what do you take?
It's tough, right? I'm not 100% sure because the
Yeah,
wizard I think is going to be hard to use against those what elves.
yeah,
You don't have a dirty player piece to use
right,
bribes.
right. I was gonna say you could take a page out of my playbook and then just hope that the pitch invasion's just as good. Um, but
Hmm.
yeah, I mean, without a dedicated fouler, without a bench, even I don't know. The bribes aren't as attractive.
Yeah, like star players be like they're just not exciting for the humans at that value.
David's saying a Merc lineman with dirty player could do it. Yeah, could do that.
Yeah, yeah, you could do that.
Could you do that and get a bribe?
Yeah, let me see what that would be. Yeah, so it's plus 80k to add a skill.
Oh, and they're
Um,
50k pieces, right?
in the 50k pieces, so that would be 130, and then you'd have 100 left over for a bribe. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
I think it's quite nice of Dave to suggest that,
Yeah,
considering that
right.
like I think is better than anything we came up with. Because yeah, so yes, of the 230, yeah, you could spend 130 to get a dirty player lineman. That gives you a one-person bench who is that dirty player lineman, and then you have 100 left over for the bribe to use on that dirty player lineman.
Jeez, David,
No,
come
it's not
on.
even a 10k scum.
Yeah,
It's you can do it in 230.
yeah, yeah. I don't forget about Mercs. I just kind of forget how the math work on it. So I don't disregard it for myself. I think I half thought about it for my
I don't
match,
get inducements, so
but
it's
yeah, right. Yeah. I mean, I think and last season I was the bloaty team. So, um, yeah, I think that's pretty solid. Um, I mean, yeah, it still might not work because I think, yeah, David Clare is going to be, not to speak for him, but probably pretty anxious to get back on the pitch and do a bunch of Alfie shit. So you're probably going to be on the receiving end on a whole bunch of wild plays, I would guess. That's how I would feel. But I don't know.
should be a fun match though. I mean, these are two good teams that have performed well.
Yeah.
Both got a 1-0-1 record, just as a TD
Mhm.
difference.
Mhm. But
Uh,
yeah, both teams
It'll be a
that
very exciting match.
yeah, both teams that I think we both expect to challenge for. I mean, we all bark no bite. We call 1 and 2,
Yeah.
respectively, or between the two of us. So yeah, I think in the long run, both these teams are pretty primed for a good run at playoffs or Challenger Cup. So
Yeah.
yeah, this is a good matchup for both of them. Cool. So yeah, I think that just about wraps it up for us.
Yeah.
Do you have anything else to add? I think we mentioned as we went through, we'll try to stream some games. We definitely love watching streams of
Yeah.
games. We're both pretty big fans of the division. For me, helpful that I'm in it. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, excited for this week, and yeah, excited to see things get going. Though I guess yeah, we did with the um, the elves, the pro elves, and the high elves. Um,
Yeah. In theory, that's being played.
yeah. Do we want to take a stab at
Let
casting
me
that?
let me see where that's at.
Yeah. Maybe we could like cast the replay a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, I would be fine with that. That is in progress.
Oh, still in progress.
Yeah, it's currently being played. I'm just loading it up to see what
Yeah.
turn it's on.
Yeah.
It's loading. It's loading. That is on turn 15.
Hmm. Okay. Uh. Yeah, up to you. I mean, the replay could go pretty fast.
That'd be fine with me if you want to do that.
Yeah, let's do that. It might be hard for us to keep up, but I'd like to see it a little bit. What I'll probably do is stop the recording and then start it back up, just
Yeah, it
so
makes
that I
sense.
have a
Yeah, so
break.
I'll have things pause at the start of it,
Okay.
and I could actually use like a 30-second break.
Yep.
So why don't you get set up, and then yeah, we can you can stop things. We'll restart. We'll do a quick recap, a quick stream of that.
Yeah, sounds good. All right. Yeah, and for those of you watching, thanks for catching the recap.
Yeah, definitely.
And yeah, I'll get it posted for those of you who didn't, and then you'll be hearing me say this. I gotta figure that one out. But yeah, we'll be back in just a minute with a quick stream.